So it's been about a week since I launched Orty, and I wanted to actually sit down and talk through everything that happened, because honestly, it wasn't what I expected going in. Quick recap for anyone new here. I'm a freelance video editor. For months, my whole outreach process was scrolling Instagram and YouTube, guessing which creators might need an editor, sending a generic pitch, and hearing basically nothing back. It felt like throwing darts blindfolded. So I built Orty to fix my own problem. You drop in a screenshot of someone's profile, it scores them on whether they're actually a fit for your specific editing style, not some generic engagement number. If it's a good fit, it drafts the outreach email for you. If it's not, it tells you to skip it, which honestly saves more time than the emails ever did. There's also a co-pilot feature. So when someone actually replies, you paste what they said and it drafts your next message using your own rate card, so it never invents a price you didn't set. And there's a self-healing tab, which catches errors and explains what went wrong in plain English, instead of just crashing on you. Small thing, but it saved me a lot of confusion building this solo. I used it myself to send 25 real outreach emails before I ever put it out publicly. That's the whole pitch, and that's where I started from going into launch week.
Okay, so launch week itself. I posted it in a bunch of places at roughly the same time. Reddit, Product Hunt, started putting out short-form videos on TikTok and Instagram, did a full walkthrough on YouTube, even started an X account from scratch. Looking back, that was probably too many things at once for one person to manage well, but I wanted real signal fast, and spreading wide seemed like the way to get it. The first genuinely interesting thing that happened wasn't a sale, it was a piece of criticism. And it came fast, in the comments of my very first Reddit post. Someone pushed back on the core feature, the fit score itself. They said, don't lean on the 1 to 10 number, or at least don't lean on it too hard. An AI scoring someone a 7 out of 10 for fit is really just a guess dressed up as a number that looks like it measured something real. And the risk is you end up trusting that number more than your own read on whether the work actually suits you. They also raised a more technical point, that the video analysis feature is sampling frames here and there, not doing continuous motion tracking, so fast cuts probably don't register well. And honestly, they were right, on both counts. I replied and said as much. Told them the score was always meant to be a rough triage signal, not a verdict, and that I probably needed to make that a lot clearer in the actual interface instead of just having that intent sitting in my head. I also clarified that the video analysis is really reading general style and energy, fast cut versus slow, not frame-accurate pacing detection. And here's the part I think is genuinely the best outcome of the entire week. That same person came back, read my reply, and agreed with the reframing. They said sampled frames are plenty for a triage call, since you're deciding if someone's worth an email in the first place, not editing their video for them. Calling it a style signal instead of pacing detection, in their words, sounded about right. That whole exchange is sitting there publicly on Reddit right now, and I think it matters more than almost anything else that happened this week. Not because it makes the product look perfect, it's the opposite of that. It shows a real limitation being pointed out, but it shows a skeptical stranger actually checking the logic behind the product and landing on, yeah, that's reasonable, that's honest. That's worth more to me than 100 generic nice comments would have been. Moving on to Product Hunt. The launch itself went reasonably well for a first-time solo submission with genuinely zero existing audience going in. Got real comments, not just emoji reactions, actual specific feedback from real people. One person said the screenshot to fit score flow was exactly the kind of thing most cold email tools completely ignore, and that the one-time bring-your-own-key pricing felt like a fair move for other indie creators. Another said the fit score idea was genuinely useful, and that the drafted email was on point for the creator they tested it on. A third said it actually caught a bad fit pitch they'd have sent otherwise, though they said the drafted email itself felt a bit generic, so they ended up rewriting most of it themselves. That last one stuck with me, because it's the kind of specific, slightly critical, clearly thought-through feedback that's actually useful to build from, way more useful than blanket praise. Then the email started. This part genuinely surprised me.
Once your product is publicly listed somewhere with some visibility, apparently people go looking for you. I got a cold email from a small directory site offering what they called free growth insights alongside a sales pitch for a paid badge. Half the advice in it was genuinely useful, real specific feedback about my actual site, missing refund policy, a duplicate call to action button, things worth fixing regardless of who pointed them out. The other half was clearly there to get me to pay for something. I got another email from a small tech blog. First message, completely free, no cost mentioned anywhere, offering to write a feature article. Then a follow-up a couple days later saying, actually, there's a $29 editorial fee, waived down from their normal rate because I'd launched on Product Hunt. Not shady exactly, they were upfront once I asked. Just read the second email carefully before you say yes to anything that starts free.
Now, here's the thing I think actually mattered most this whole week, more than any comment, any email, any upvote. About 6 days in, I finally set up real analytics on my own website. Not a placeholder, not a vague guess based on vibes, actual visitor tracking. And I should have done this on day 1, not day 6, because for the first 6 days of this launch, I genuinely had no reliable way to know if any of my marketing was reaching anyone at all. I was posting into what felt like a void, hoping the numbers were moving somewhere I couldn't see. Once it was actually live, a few things showed up that surprised me. First, and this is the big one, most of my early visitors were on Mac or Linux. Orty, right now, today, is a Windows-only application. That's a real concrete mismatch between who's actually curious about this thing and what I've actually built for them. And I would not have known about it without the data. You cannot fix a blind spot like that by guessing harder or posting more. You have to actually measure it to see it. So if you're building something yourself, whatever it is, get real analytics running before launch day, not a week into it. I lost a full week of not knowing whether anything I was doing was actually working. Don't make that same mistake. It's an easy one to avoid and an annoying one to recover from. So where does that leave things going forward? I'm taking the Reddit feedback seriously and reworking how the fit score gets presented in the app itself, leaning more on the plain English reasoning and less on the raw number. I'm genuinely looking into what a Mac version would actually take now that I know real demand might be sitting there. And mostly, I'm just trying to keep the same rhythm going. Short videos, staying active in the comments, actually replying to people instead of posting something and disappearing. If you've got questions about any of this, the product, the launch, any of it, drop them below. I read everything. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.